The reviews are in. Everybody is just over the moon over this. We've seen many superhero films, quote-unquote superhero films, but nothing like this before. So I guess just give me a sense, first of all, you're at the end of this long press tour. The movie's finally coming out. Talk to me about how you're feeling on the eve of finally letting the fans see this and what kind of reception you've been getting in the press tour.
I'm so excited about it. I mean, we're tired. We should be tired. It's been 17 years, right?
You deserve a break.
Right? No, but it feels right, and we're both very sorry to speak for you, but I think I can speak for both of us. We're very proud of the movie. We tried to do something different. We tried to give something that I think the fans have always wanted from Wolverine, because they tell me for the last 17 years, and I think we've finally gone there. And it took a bunch of people, Patrick, James Mangold's studio people, probably 7 or 8, Simon Kinberg, Hutch Parker, this Scott Frank, Michael Green, just a core group who really believed in something different. And then we were stubborn about it. And so now, as we unleash it to the fans, it's exciting. I cannot wait. I'll be sneaking into some cinema.
Me too.
Tonight to watch it.
Tomorrow.
And because I really want to see how it plays with the people it was made for. You know?
I'm just thinking about the audience member that looks behind them and sees Patrick Stewart, like just to their left. Yeah. They're going to be freaking out. But talk to me. I've heard
them to put away their cell phones.
Exactly. Watch the screen. You've seen this film, I think, twice. Is that correct?
That's right.
Patrick, so talk to me a little bit about what it's been like to enjoy this film, go on this journey, and sort of see a much different kind of your different take on Charles, Hugh's different take on Logan, and sort of the emotions it's filled you with to see this take on it.
I'm glad to hear you speak about enjoyment. Other people have talked about what a challenge this was. Well, it didn't feel like a challenge, because from the moment that the hints came down from the studio that this was going to be a little different. Well, first of all, you're in it, Patrick.
Yes.
And then that, well, it's going to be a little different. And then finally, I saw the script. And I was engaged by the first scene that Hugh has. It's about him and some guys who are trying to hurt him. And then I got to my first scene, our first scene, and I read the stage direction for the location, for the setting. There had been no X-Men movie in a setting like this before, and I was hooked. I was so sucked in to this new world, and a Charles Xavier who was no longer calm, unruffled, intellectual, compassionate, but nervous, scatterbrained, uneasy, angry, violent, and as we discover, very, very dangerous. So there was only pleasure in bringing this to life, not a challenge at all.
Was there a plan B if Patrick hadn't responded to the idea? Like, what would you have done?
No, that was the first idea. The first idea that James Mangold and I had was, first we started talking about Unforgiven and what a great Old Man Logan, the comic book, and we said it has to be Patrick, because really James Mangold hit on it, that Logan Wolverine is a man who's not afraid of 20 people in a parking lot. That's easy for him.
Right.
What is hard for him is love, is family. And so who's the closest thing to family for him? And his father figure in Charles. So that was the first thing. I was so relieved. You emailed me after you read it privately. Yeah. I was so nervous when it went out, this idea. But I kind of instinctively knew that Patrick would be into it. We have more in that first 5-minute scene. I think we kind of have more ups and downs and layers than perhaps all the other movies combined. So it was exciting, and there was no plan B.
It's what actors love. You know, for the most part, they love diversity, change, difference, and we had that all the way through this movie.
What a lot of people don't know is actually, and James was reminding me, it was about 8 months into the writing that he came up with the idea of Laura. So that wasn't a given. It was a kind of a father-son story.
Sure.
Really, and then he said, let's broaden that family. It's a family film.
Yes. I mean, it truly is. It just happens to have
a little bit of violence. No. But adding that third element was really a genius masterstroke. And of course, casting it, and Daphne, who plays it, is astonishing.
So talk to me a little bit, you alluded to this already, making allusions to films like Unforgiven and Shane. There's definitely a Western motif, and James Mangold has that down pat. He can do it with the best of them. You know, and I know you went into this knowing you wanted this to be the last one, the last ride.
Yeah.
What other elements did you say to James when he was starting to write it, like, make sure this is in there, make sure that's in there? Were there other kind of like key kind of ingredients that needed to be in there to make this worth doing for you?
Yeah, we wanted this not to, I was very specific that it shouldn't feel like a ninth chapter or a closing chapter. We should start afresh. Let's treat the characters fresh. Let's let the audience feel this is new, almost like a beginning. To not expect what is coming. I talked about The Wrestler. I was very taken by Aronofsky's The Wrestler and Unforgiven. But I'm fully aware, it's pretty easy to say, you know, let's do Unforgiven meets Jaws. You know, that kind of conversation you have over a glass of wine, and almost anyone in this room can say the things I said. This is a James Mangold film. The difficulty is pulling that stuff off. And many of the ideas, which I think fans know about, for example, referencing comic books in it, Laura, this idea of family, the road trip element, the idea of seeing these characters as very, very human, more than superhuman. This is all James Mangold. And I have never been so grateful to someone in my life. I'm very grateful to this man. But James, this movie meant a lot to me. And what he pulled off in that script in this film exceeded all my expectations.